So we will dedicate our session to His Divine Grace Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, who is the founder Acharya of ISKCON. And I would like to pay my obeisances to His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj and His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj. So we are on the we will be starting chapter 7 of Bhagavad Gita. Okay, so you already know that we have already completed the part 1, that was Karma Yoga, which had 6 chapters, and we have thoroughly done it with revisions. So I think so there will be no doubts from that section now. So these were the titles of these 6 chapters. Okay, now we will be starting the part 2, that is Bhakti Yoga. And this Bhakti Yoga section also has 6 chapters in it. Okay, the 7th chapter has 30 shloka and it is titled as Knowledge of the Absolute. 8th chapter has 28, titled as Attaining the Supreme. 9th chapter has 34 shloka and Most Confidential Knowledge. 10th chapter 42 shloka, Opulence of the Absolute. 11th chapter 55 shloka, the Universal Form. 12th chapter Devotional Service, it has 20 shlokas. So we have discussed the example of a jewelry box in our sessions, where we have seen that the bottom portion of the box was compared to the Karma Yoga, the top portion to the Jnana Yoga, and the middle portion, that is the diamond ring in that box. Okay, it was the Bhakti Yoga. Why? Because Bhakti Yoga is the most precious jewel of Bhagavad Gita. That's why it is the center, that jewel, that diamond ring in the box. So now, why this is called diamond ring and this most important part? Because this is the essence of Bhagavad Gita. Okay, so we know that the first part of Bhagavad Gita, Karma Yoga section, that was mostly about our identity. It was about us. Okay, this section of Bhakti Yoga is mostly about, it's about God. Okay, we will be knowing so many opulences of God in this, and how to attain that supreme, how the knowledge about God is most confidential, and His universal form, and finally about devotional service in this section. So it's mostly about God. And the last section of Bhakti, this Bhagavad Gita, is part 3, which is Jnana Yoga, and that will be about the world. You will see that it is about the material manifestation, material nature. So this is how the 3 sections of Bhagavad Gita are compared to ourselves, God, and world. Okay, so this chapter 7 is titled as Knowledge of the Absolute. This chapter has been divided for convenience into 5 sections. First is from 1 to 3 verses, glory of knowledge about Lord Krishna. And second is from 4 to 12, knowledge of Lord Krishna's energies. 13 to 19, surrendering unto Lord Krishna. 20 to 25, demigod worship and impersonalism. 26 to 30, from delusion by Maya to delusion to devotion to Krishna. Okay, so why this chapter has been divided in these sections, we can have a basic gist of that. In this, mostly Krishna is going to tell us, give us knowledge about his energies. So first he is glorifying that knowledge in first to 3 verses. Then he gives that knowledge about his energies, his superior energy and his inferior energy. And then why surrender to Lord Krishna? Because if we know about Krishna, we know how great he is, how sweet he is, then that should lead to some transformation. That should lead to surrender. Okay, there is no use of that knowledge until and unless it leads to surrender. So Krishna talks about surrender unto him from verse 13 to 19. And then Arjuna might ask that people surrender to you, but what about those people who doesn't surrender to you but surrender to something else? So he talks about people who surrender to demigods, or people who believe in impersonal aspect of Krishna, who are impersonalists. They are more interested in Brahman realization. So he talks about that in this chapter. And finally, in 26 to 30, he tells that because we are illusion, we are not able to surrender to Krishna. So how we can convert our illusion, that delusion, which we are entangled in this material world, to devotion unto Krishna? How can that be done? So that will be talked from 26 to 30. So this is the flow of the chapter. So glory of knowledge about Lord Krishna. Okay. So you remember in the last word of the 6th chapter, okay, Krishna says this verse. Okay, anybody wants to recite this verse?
Yoginamapi sarvesham madgatena antaratmana Shraddhavan bhajate yomam same yuktatamo mataha.
And of all yogis, the one with great faith who always abides in me, thinks of me within himself and renders transcendental loving service to me. He is the most intimately united with me in yoga and is the highest of all. That is my opinion.
So, just want to check, like, someone would like to share their learnings on this verse from 6th chapter. And what was it all about, and what did we discuss? What was the importance of this? For 6th chapter, we have spent a lot of time. So I think so. Even if in mid of night, if someone wakes you up and asks, you can tell.
So
yeah.
Basically, yeah, Hare Krishna. So what I recollect is, here Krishna is basically introducing Bhakti Yoga, and he is trying to tell Arjuna that of all the yogas, Bhakti Yoga is basically the topmost yoga, and he is basically trying to tell how he can be achieved, like Shraddhavan bhajate yomam same yukta tamo mataha. So he's telling that with basically lot of faith and all the basically like what do you say, fully surrendering is required basically.
Yeah, it's basically, you rightly said that this verse is, 6th chapter was all about primarily Ashtanga Yoga, right? Which is almost the second highest yoga path in the ladder of bhakti, in the ladder of yoga. And towards the end, with the 46th verse, Krishna said that of this is higher, of this is higher, and of all these, yoga is higher, right? Within all these yogas, what is the highest is categorically mentioned in the last verse of 47th chapter, which is the seed verse for the next 6 chapters. This verse forms the seed verse for the next 6 chapters, which are under the Bhakti Yoga section, right? And here, the most important part is that devotee who is worshipping me with Shraddha, faith, right? What is he doing with faith? Is he doing meditation? Is he doing Karma Yoga? Is he doing Jnana Yoga? Is he doing Karma Kanda? No. What is he doing? He's Bhajate Yoga. Bhajate. That Bhajate word Prabhupada has very comprehensively explained in his purport of this chapter, of this verse, right? Bhajate is engaged in devotional service, right? So here Krishna has put forward that of all the yoga path, Bhakti Yoga is the highest, right?
So in this verse, Krishna is saying that with great faith who always abides with me in me and thinks of me within himself. So this will be carried forward from the first shloka. And you all remember that in first 6 chapters, Krishna has talked about many yogas, like Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga was basically, Nishkam Karma Yoga was basically renunciation in action. So now Krishna is moving from that renunciation in action to devotion in action. How? Not only detaching ourselves from the fruits, every activity of ours should be filled with bhakti. So now he's moving to devotion in action. Okay, and this has already been told that Bhakti Yoga is the highest of all yogas. So this chapter starts with this verse. Hearing reveals knowledge about Krishna. Anybody will like to recite this?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Rami.
Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Maya Shakta Mana Partha Yogam Yunjan Matashraya Asamshayam Samagramam Tayata Jnanaschichak Charo. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "Now hear, O son of Partha, how by practicing yoga in full consciousness of me, with mind attached to me, you can know me in full, free from doubt."
Thank you, Rami. So now you can see the link between the last verse. In that was who always thinks of me, who fully abides in me. And here also it's written who is in full consciousness of me, whose mind is totally attached to me. So Krishna is saying, "Oh Partha, oh Arjuna, now hear from me how when you will practice this yoga of bhakti, remembering me always, and your mind is attached to me, then you can have full knowledge about me and you will be free from doubts." So he's saying like that. But this verse can be taken in an alternative manner also. Okay, we can see the importance of hearing from this verse. How? We will tell you. See, reveals 7.1 reveals the whole process of devotional service. How? See, first word is Shrinu. Shrinu means try to hear. So Krishna is saying, Arjuna, try to hear. After hearing, what will happen? Yatha gasyasi samagram. Yatha gasyasi samagram means you will know me completely. Okay. So hearing will reveal the knowledge about Krishna to that person who hears. And after that knowledge, all doubts will be cleared. That is samsayam. All doubts will be cleared. And after all doubts are removed, then we will take shelter. We will take shelter of Krishna, Mad Ashraya. So take shelter of Krishna. And then when we take shelter of Krishna, we will practice Bhakti Yoga. And Bhakti Yoga practice and taking shelter of Krishna or surrender to Krishna goes hand in hand. So practice Bhakti Yoga. And then when we practice Bhakti Yoga, we do devotional service, then we will be able to remember Krishna because we will be attached to Krishna. Okay. By this attachment, we will always be able to think of Krishna because it is said, always remember Krishna and never forget Krishna. And then what will happen? Like in this, we can see that hearing has given so much of importance. And in the purport also, Prabhupada highlights about these 9 processes of devotional service. All of you know, anybody will like to revise these 9 processes of devotional service?
Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Pad service, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, and Sakhyam, and then last is Atma Nivedanam.
Very good.
Total surrender.
Very nice. You remembered all in order also, not only names, but order. So these are the 9 processes of devotional service, and they come in Bhagavatam, 7th canto, 5th chapter, verse number 23 to 24. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atma Nivedanam. So now we see that here the 9 processes also starts with hearing. Why? Because hearing is the method we can gain knowledge. Our devotional service starts with hearing. So it is said that hearing is the starting point as well as it is the means. Okay, it is the path also. Why? When we are in bhakti, it's not that once we hear and then we leave it. No, we have to continuously hear because hearing will increase our attachment to Krishna more and more. Okay, so hearing cannot be stopped at any moment. In our this mind chart also, we know that hearing has given a special importance. Okay, now we know that for hearing, Parikshit Maharaj is glorified because he heard Bhagavatam from Sukdev Goswami. But in the other process also, like chanting also, hearing was there. How? Because like Sukdev Goswami is speaking Bhagavatam to Parikshit Maharaj. But Sukdev Goswami was able to speak because he has himself heard it from somebody. He has heard it from Vyasdev. That's why he was able to chant. He was able to speak. So We are able to chant only when we hear, and then hearing is there, chanting is there, then only we are able to remember. And Prahlad Maharaj was the one who used to remember Krishna always think of Krishna. Why? Because Prahlad Maharaj also has heard Bhagavatam when he was in the womb of Kayadu, his mother. So we see that everything is starting from hearing. Hearing is so important. And we know that hearing is important to gain spiritual knowledge. Similarly, in this material world also, we gain knowledge, material knowledge also by hearing. We have been going to schools and colleges, and then we hear lectures, and then only we gain knowledge. So hearing is given so much importance. Okay, so in the next so beginning of Krishna consciousness and devotional service is hearing. So it is the beginning as well as the path, because as long as we hear, what will happen? Anybody will like to read this?
Yeah. The more one eats, the more one feels satisfaction and strength. The more one hears about Krishna, the more one becomes enlightened and detached from everything that draws the mind away from Krishna.
Okay. So thank you, Harshita. The more one eats, the more one feels satisfaction and strength. Okay. So the more one hears about Krishna, the more we will become enlightened. And when we become enlightened, we gain knowledge about Krishna. We will be detached from everything that draws our mind from Krishna. So we have seen like how important hearing is, and what does hearing does actually. Okay, so it has it has been told in Bhagavatam, first canto, second chapter, what happens when we hear. Okay, when we hear about Krishna, so what will happen? Our impurities, our anarthas will definitely go down. Okay, that material lust and greed and anger, that will decrease, because Krishna is present as Paramatma in us. Okay, so he knows that we are sincerely hearing about him. He will purify our heart, and with that purification, we will become steady in our bhakti. Okay, we will have nishtha, and then we will be situated in a mode of goodness. And in that mode of goodness, we will be able to gain full knowledge about Krishna, and all our doubts can be removed. So this is the process how hearing helps us. Okay. So
across the Bhagavatam, now we are going to start Bhagavatam. This will explain that to hear about Krishna in association of devotees. To hear about Krishna in association of devotees is the best gift one can get. I'm repeating. To hear about Krishna in association of devotees is the best gift one can get. Now, why is it? Just, we are going through the fourth canto of Bhagavatam in our ISKCON center, ISKCON Whitefield Center. When you see Dhruv Maharaj, I think so I shared a slide also in our group, that how association of devotees is the benediction. Association of devotees is the benediction which was consistently asked by all the devotees when Krishna came in front of them and asked them, okay, you ask something from me. Because I've appeared, I want to give you some benediction. And all the devotees consistently, they asked for one thing, which is, please give us association of devotees so that we can hear about you more and more. They didn't ask for that, my child, he is naughty, he should study nicely, he should get into IIT or, a medical college, or he should get a good wife, I should get a good health, my spouse is irritating me a lot, and somehow gave me power to tolerate, should we be happy, I want a lot of money, I want all peace in my life. Why didn't they ask for this? Why did they choose association of devotees? Why did they choose that we should hear more about you in association of devotees, and why not all these things? because they know that if they get this one thing, then rest of their things, will be taken care of. Also, what do you mean by taken care of? It is not that there won't be any challenges in life. They will be here and there. This is Dukhalayam Ashashvatam. But when you are in association of devotees, when you are hearing about Krishna in that association, it's like taking vaccine. It's like taking vaccine. You will be immune to all these challenges. It's not that Corona will be gone. When you take vaccine, Corona will still be there. You may still get infected, but what will happen? Your immunity, which has been developed because of taking vaccine, will fight that infection, right? So your association of devotees, your hearing about Krishna in association will give you sufficient immunity to these challenges. You will seamlessly overcome those problems of life, right? And please never forget, what was the first teaching of Krishna in Bhagavad Gita? Okay, one of you will tell me from which verse to which verse did Krishna spoke about his teachings. First teaching to Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita. From which verse to which verse?
So you mean to say the first verse of Krishna in Bhagavad Gita?
No, for his first teachings. What was Krishna's first teaching in Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna?
Maybe we are not this body but soul.
Yes. Right? Yes. And that is from verse number 2 point. Oh, you all have forgotten, huh?
11.
You need to revise. You need to revise. Keep revising. Otherwise, you'll forget. 11 to 30. Okay? Yeah. Right? So, and what is that? We are not this body, we are soul. We are, if we have soul, then we have a purpose. And so the purpose is we have to go back to Krishna. We can get back to Krishna if we are reminded about Krishna in association with devotees. Okay?
And one more important thing, like hearing should not be hearing should be always from authoritative sources. Okay, like we should hear directly from Krishna, as in Bhagavad Gita, or from devotees who are coming in authorized sampradaya. We should not go and hear anything and everything. Okay, so that is also important, and that hearing should be with a submissive nature. Okay, it should not be with a challenging nature. It should be very submissive. So here, submissive hearing will lead us to Krishna. Now we move to the second verse, 7.2. Jnana and Vidya about Krishna. So in this verse, Krishna is saying, I shall now declare unto you in full this knowledge, both phenomenal and numinous. This being known, nothing further shall remain for you to know. Okay. So Krishna is saying, now I am going to give you this knowledge. And this knowledge I am going to give you in full. So what do you mean by full? Full means like complete knowledge. Complete knowledge means, like in scripture it is said that knowledge about Jagat, Jeev and Jagdish. That comprises complete knowledge. And when we have seen in the 4th chapter that knowledge about Krishna, about his living entities and this world. This is transcendental knowledge. Okay. And now Krishna is saying, Krishna has divided this knowledge into 2 aspects, both phenomenal and numinous. What do we mean by phenomenal? Phenomenal means like description of Krishna's material and spiritual energies. We can take it in a sense like theoretical knowledge. Okay, phenomenal knowledge is theoretical knowledge. Yes, this is material energy of Krishna. There are so many material elements. This is the spiritual energy of Krishna, and maybe their relationship. We can study in this. But what about numinous? Numinous is explained as like Krishna's personality and sweetness. How Krishna is so sweet, Krishna is a person, and he reciprocates. So that knowledge is numinous knowledge. Okay, Vishna Chakati Thakur has given a different meaning to these both words in his explanation of Bhagavad Gita. For phenomenal, he says that it talks about Krishna's Ashwarya. It is Ashwarya. But in numinous, it means he's talking about Krishna's sweetness. Okay, so Madhurya. So it is Madhurya and that is Ashwarya. So in that way, he has classified these two types of energies. Now, we'll see that about Jnana in chapter 7 and 8, about Vijnana in chapter 9, and both will be in chapter 10 and 11, in which we will talk about Jnana as well as Vijnana. Well, in this verse, we will see that he's saying, I will tell you this knowledge in full. Now, what Krishna means by this? Okay, because Krishna himself will say in this coming chapter, in verse number 26, Maam tu Veda Kashana. Nobody can know me as I am. And Arjuna will also say in coming chapter that Krishna, even demigods, even Narada Muni, Vyasdev, or any other sages, they are not able to know your glories in full. So nobody can know you as you are. But here, when he's saying, I will tell you in full, it means he will tell in Bhagavad Gita about the basic principles, basic facts about the absolute truth. Because details can never be known, okay? They are unlimited. Krishna's glories are unlimited. And we know that Ananta Shesh, if by his thousands of hertz, if is glorifying for unlimited time, his glories will not end. So they are vast, so they cannot be known. But yes, basic principles which are given in Bhagavad Gita, we can definitely know. Okay. Now, when we see that, okay, Bhagavad Gita is giving us full knowledge, but sometimes we say, okay, in Bhagavatam, that is a higher knowledge. And even higher than Bhagavatam is Chaitanya Charitamrita. Because we say that it is a graduate level of study Bhagavad Gita, and that is postgraduate, and that is doctoral level of study Chaitanya Charitamrita. So how to understand that? It means like in Bhagavad Gita, mainly we talk about God's identity, okay, about God's energy basically. He doesn't talk about much of his pastimes, his activities in Bhagavad Gita. Okay, in 4 chapter 9 verse he says Janma Karma Me Divyam, but that was his glory, that was not pastimes. So in Bhagavatam, Krishna will mostly, they will be mostly like pastimes of Krishna and his devotees. And then in Chaitanya Charitamrita, we talks about mentality of Krishna, like how Krishna thinks, what he desires, what he likes, what doesn't he like. That's why Krishna took a role of a devotee, like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, to know how a devotee feels about Krishna. So that's why we can understand that Bhagavad Gita gives us knowledge about God, okay, about the identity of God. Okay. Now, we will move to the next verse. This is from 10th chapter. Okay, in this verse, Krishna is saying something that he is the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Anybody will try to recite this verse?
I'll recite.
Okay.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Aham sarvasya prabhavo matah sarva pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvitaha. I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise who perfectly know this engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts.
Thank you, Dipesh. Okay, so this is taken from 10th chapter, in which Krishna is saying that Aham Sarvasya Prabhu, I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. I am the source, I am the basis, I am the origin of each and everything that exists. The wise who perfectly know this engage in my devotional service. If you know this, if you know about greatness of Krishna, about sweetness of Krishna, definitely we'll engage ourselves in devotional service and we'll worship Krishna with all our hearts. So in the coming verses, Krishna will talk about the rarity of this knowledge as well as about his spiritual energies and material energies. So we have talked about this sweetness of Lord Krishna by these pastimes, that how sweet is Lord Krishna, that is Vijnana, that is realized knowledge, that is transformation knowledge. knowledge should lead to transformation. So we talk like Gyan is theoretical knowledge, okay, but Vigyan is realized or transformation knowledge. When we come to know about sweetness of Lord Krishna, and these are the pastimes, like when he was very small, he used to bring Nand Baba's slippers when he used to go out, so lovingly. And he used to eat with his friends, like we used to eat in our schools with Krishna, and he used to eat like that jhuta of his Gopa friends also. So this way, it reflects, these pastimes reflect that how sweet is Lord Krishna. Okay. Now, Arjuna might ask, okay, so can everybody know about Krishna? Can everybody get this knowledge? So Krishna will say, no. He will talk about rarity of this knowledge. And it has been said, we have already told you that we cannot know Krishna by any reflections, any thinking. We think, or any speculation about Krishna. By our intelligence, we cannot know Krishna because it is revealed. Dadami buddhi yogam tam. Because about Krishna, the knowledge is always revealed. Nobody can know it by his own intellect. So, because this knowledge is revealed, that's why it's very rare. So Krishna talks about rarity of this knowledge in the next verse. Rarity of realized knowledge. Somebody would like to recite?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Manushyanam sahasreshu kasidhyadati siddhaye yatatamapi siddhanam kaschinmam veti tatpataha. Out of many thousands among men, one may endeavor perfection, and of those who have achieved perfection, hardly one knows me in truth.
Thank you, Lavanyaji. Okay. Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschin yatati siddhaya yatatamapi siddhanam kaschinmam veti tatpataha. So, out of many thousands among men, what Krishna means by this? So there are so many living entities in this world, and we are the human beings. Okay, so definitely animals, plants, and trees, they cannot know about Krishna out of those living entities. Only human beings have been endowed with that intelligence that they can understand something about Krishna. Okay, so but the unfortunate situation is that in this material world, most of the people are involved in materialistic activities of eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. And they are not interested in self-realization. Now we are going out for this Gita course registration. We ask so many people. Out of so many people, one will agree to join the Gita course because they are not interested and not interested in self-realization. They don't want to endeavor anything to know about themselves, about God or this world. They just want to waste their life in this materialistic propensities. Okay. Now, Krishna is saying that out of these men, sometimes some may endeavor for perfection. But all these people who are endeavoring for perfection, they may take one of the paths, like they may take Karma Yoga path, they may take Jnana Yoga path, or they may take this Dhyana Yoga path. You know? We know that these all paths have their some like level of achievement, like Brahma, Jnana Yogi can reach up to Brahman realization of God. That aspect they can realize. Okay, Dhyana Yogis can realize the Paramatma aspect of absolute truth. Okay, but only if they get a mercy of a devotee, they can progress to Prem and Bhakti Yoga. Until and unless they do this, there is always a chance that they fall down in this material world. Okay, and Krishna will say in this coming chapter, only in the 19th verse, Bhaunam Janma Namante. After many births, even of those people who are endeavoring for perfection, there are only few who will come to know that some Mahatma Sadurgadava. That Mahatma is very, very rare who knows Krishna as he is. Okay, so these paths will lead to incomplete realization of the absolute. And Krishna has again and again said that only Bhakti Yogis or devotional service can lead to complete realization, Bhagavan realization. And that Bhagavan realization, we know, it will definitely include Brahman and Paramatma realization. So it is complete in that sense, because if we know about Krishna as a person, as Supreme Personality of Godhead, then definitely we know the Brahman aspect of his energies, that Brahman, that energy, spiritual energy, that Brahman effluence, as well as the Paramatma aspect. Because Paramatma aspect, he is expanding in the every living entities. Krishna is only expanding. So that way, these transcendentalists are very rare. And Krishna is saying, of all those who have achieved perfection, hardly one knows me in truth. So Krishna wants to say, even if these persons are endeavoring for perfection, there is a very rare soul who will know Krishna tattvataha. Tattvataha means as he is in full. Okay. Now, in the purport, Prabhupada talks that some people who are philosophers or mental speculators or non-devotees, they will say that okay, bhakti yoga is for sentimental people. It's very easy. Okay, karma yoga is for working people. Gyan yoga is for intellectual people. Dhyan yoga is people who are austere, and bhakti yoga is only for sentimental people. Okay, so Prabhupada says, if they say that bhakti is so easy, then why they are taking the difficult path to reach to Krishna? Okay, that is the question. So Prabhupada says, no, that kind of bhakti which doesn't follow rules and regulation, and people do whatever they like in name of bhakti. That kind of bhakti can be easy, but if we follow rules and regulations of scriptures, then that type of bhakti is very rare. In Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Rupa Goswami says that bhakti which is not according to scriptures like Narad Panchtatra or Upanishads or Puranas, that bhakti will be a simple social disturbance in the society that will not lead to anything. Okay, so these transcendentalists may know Krishna in some impersonal aspect, but they don't know that Krishna can be known as a Yashodanandan. Krishna can be known as a Parth Sathi. He can perform such pastimes with his devotee. They don't know that sweetness aspect of Krishna, that Krishna is a person and he reciprocates with us. So that is the tattvataha knowledge of Krishna, and it is very rare. And we have already shared this shloka many times with you. Anybody would like to recite this shloka?
I will decide.
Yes.
आहारनिद्राभयमैथुनं च सामान्यमेतत् पशुभिर्नराणां मोहितेषाम् अधिको विशेषः धर्मेण हीनः पशुभिः समानः. Eating, sleeping, defending, and mating, these four activities are common to both human beings and animals. The difference is that a man can search after God, but an animal cannot. Therefore, a man without that urge for searching after God is no better than an animal.
Thank you, Ashok. So actually we have taken this shloka because in the last shloka, Krishna has talked that out of thousands among men. So these are the thousands of men they are doing. They are doing all these activities and they are not interested in self-realization. So that's why we have taken this shloka. And now in this slide, which we have already done in the first 6 chapters, we have known about the progression of from Karma Kanda to Nishkam Karma Yoga to Gyan Yoga to Dhyan Yoga and then to Bhakti Yoga. And we know that we have already explained in this before this slide, Shambha Shloka, that all these yogas will lead, they are transcendentalists, but they will lead to some incomplete realization. But only Bhakti Yoga, when he lovingly serves the Supreme, then he is in complete knowledge. Okay, so this is the Tattvata knowledge which we can get only through Bhakti Yoga.
Does anyone have any question?
Sumit Prabhu, I have one question.
Yeah.
We understand that there are various degrees of lust in humans, in animals, and in trees, basically. On the last slide, we did see that many people, like thousands of people, they do the same thing, same activities like the animals. So I just wanted to understand, how come they get the, or maybe how can we get the human body in that situation? If the degree of lust is so high and we are not even searching after God, so how do we actually get the human body?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. I think we have lost Shri Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Ashad Prabhuji. Fortunately, we were on this also. So yeah. So can you please repeat your question while we are back home?
Okay. So I was just trying to understand that on the last slide, Mataji mentioned, how thousands of people, behave in a similar manner in terms of their propensities, like animals, and defending basically. And we also know that there are various degrees of lust across human being, animals, and trees, etc. So I wanted to understand, if the degree of lust among the men is so high, so how come they are in the human form?
So which form they should be in then? Like, so you think that the degree of lust is higher in animals, right? And trees, but comparatively little lower in humans, right?
Correct. That's what.
But practically we see that even in human beings the degree of lust is very high, right? See, the thing is, if you compare with animals, whatever a human being is, whatever the degree of lust is, but they are not as immature or as animal type that even if there are countries who allow free mixing and this, that they can do everything everywhere. They would have some degree of dignity, right? Some degree of shame, right? But when you talk about animals, they are just all out. They don't consider time, place, circumstances. They don't consider anything, right? They don't feel shame about it any way, in any sense. For example, even in West, like we have seen whenever in corporate world, when people introduce themselves, oh, I'm married for 20 years, with pride they say. They know that how common it is for them to take divorce and marry, and those. Why is that? Because of lust, right? Because they are not able to control their senses. So they also take pride wherever they are. They also have their restrictions, that they cannot just have free mixing up outside the marriage life, right? So they also have some type of sanity in themselves, right? So yes, comparatively, human beings undoubtedly they understand what is what should be done with, while spirituality not maybe the underlying basis for them to basically live by that principle. It may be social, cultural, or country laws, whatever it is, right? While in animal life, there's nothing. There's no cultural barrier, there is no intellectual barrier, there is no law, nothing like that, right?
Thank you.
Yeah. Was that the question, right? Did I answer it correctly?
Yes. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, and basically, if you see across cultures, there are different kind of religions, right? There are different kinds of religions. And yeah. And in every religion, like, can I ask you one question? Like, why there are different religions? Why there are so many religions? And in Vedas, why there are so many ladders? Why is it so?
Because there are different types of people.
Yes. There are different kind of people, who want to live different ways. That is why Vedas also cater to different kind of people, right? Vedas and even different religions, like outside Vedic principles, there are many other religions, which live by their own principles. And yeah, so like, so they have their own boundaries, right? So are you all able to hear us now clearly? Right? Harshad, Prabhu?
Not as clear as it was previously.
Oh, is it? Okay. So what we can do is we can use our screen to share.
Now it's clear, Prabhuji.
Okay, so this is better.
Yes, it's better.
Okay, fine. So yeah. So Harshad Prabhu, even why there are different religions for different cultures and people, or even Vedas cater to different kind of people, is because they're people of different mindset. They're people of different degree of advancement, different degrees of lust. Some people, who are more mature. And yeah,
just like because some their degree of lust is less, so that smoke is covering the fire, but little bit we give the air to it, it will be removed, that smoke, and that fire can come. So that's why the people who come to Krishna consciousness is very rare. But still, human beings have that intelligence that they can come to Krishna consciousness. That's why we say that it is for human beings, like as compared to animals and trees. Okay, there's a good chance.
So any other question or comment on this first section before we move on to the second?
So in this second section of this chapter, it's knowledge about Krishna's energies, not Krishna's energies. So Bhumir apu analovayu kam mano buddhirev cha ahankar iti amme bhinna prakriti ashtadha. Earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and false ego. All together, these constitute my separated material energies. So Krishna has now started telling about his energy.
This we did in the introductory 9 introductory sections, right? We discussed about that, we are made up of these gross and subtle elements, right? 5 gross and 3 subtle. So you see that. Someone will like to recite this? Any one of you who has not yet recited anything? Anuradha Mataji, will you like to recite these words? You are new to this group. Prashadji, you will like? Okay.
Yeah. Apareyam itastva anyam prakritim vitti me param jiva bhutam maha. Let me where laptop and up, so I'm using a mobile phone. Yeah, sorry, I'll start from the beginning. Apareyam itasta anyam prakritim vitti me param jiva bhutam mahabaho yayedam daryade jagat. Besides
Very
this,
nice.
O mighty armed Arjuna, there is another superior energy of mine which comprises the living entities who are exploiting the resources of this material, inferior nature.
Thank you, Prasad. So in the last verse, Krishna talked about his material energies, like 8 major elements, 3 gross and 3 subtle. And he was telling that they are my separated energies. And in this verse, Krishna is telling about his internal energy, okay, para prakriti. And that verse was about apara prakriti. Okay, so Krishna is saying that other than that inferior energy of mine, that material energy is inferior energy, and this energy is superior energy. And what is the superior energy? We, the living entities. We are the superior energy of Krishna. And in Bhagavad Gita, about us, it is also told that this living entities are marginal energy of Krishna, Tathastha Shakti. Why? Because we have a tendency that because we have come in contact with this material world, our original spiritual nature has been covered. So we in contact with the inferior, we can come in contact with the inferior energy and come to this material world, or we can revive our consciousness back and we can connect to Krishna. That's why we are called as marginal energy of Krishna also. And what we are doing at present, we are exploiting the other inferior energy of Krishna. We are busy exploiting that. But Krishna says that instead of exploiting the same material energy, you can use in my service. Okay, so basically in this, Krishna is talking about superior energy of Krishna and inferior energy of Krishna. So we'll move to the next slide. This we have already like clear to you that there's a soul which is called as the Dehi, and there is a Deha outside that in form of subtle body and gross body, and they are like gross body is made up of 5 elements: earth, water, fire, air, and ether, and subtle body is made up of mind, intelligence, and ego. Okay, so now in the 6th verse, Krishna is now saying, I am the creator as well as the destroyer. All created beings have their source in these 2 natures. Of all that is material and all that is spiritual in this world, know for certain that I am both the origin and dissolution. So this verse we can take in a form like everything that exists, everything which we see in this cosmic manifestation, it is a combination of these 2 natures of Krishna, these 2 energies of Krishna, that is material and spirit. How we can understand this? Like definitely our example, we have a material body, okay, and we have a spirit soul. So we are a combination of these 2 energies of Krishna. Okay, now this whole cosmic manifestation, this is pervaded by Krishna in the form of Paramatma. So Paramatma is the super soul, and this cosmic manifestation, everything of that cosmic manifestation is a material energy. So in that sense, we can see that it's a combination of product of spirit and matter. Now sometimes we may think like how to explain this laptop or this building as or this picture as a combination. So Chaitanya Prabhu has explained that how can we see that that thing as a combination, that definitely that thing is made up of material energies of Krishna, gross elements, but to make that thing, a spirit has worked on it. Okay, we have worked on it, that only that it has come into picture. Okay, the sand is there, bricks is there, okay, cement is there, but until unless somebody works on it, okay, laborers work on it, a building cannot come into picture. So that way we can see that everything is a combination of these 2 energies of Krishna, and Krishna is the source, Krishna is the origin, Krishna is the basis of everything. We know that that this material manifestation is manifested at times and it becomes unmanifested at times. Why? Because ultimately everything rests in Mahavishnu at the time of Pralay, and when he wants to manifest this material world again, all living entities are put into this material nature. And that like this whole about this material creation we will be studying in detail in Bhagavatam. How it comes into picture, what is Mahatattva, what Vishnus do, that will be a detailed topic of 3rd canto of Bhagavatam. Okay. Now Krishna now speaks about this words, that he is not only the creator and destroyer, he is the maintainer also. Okay. Matta partaram nanya kinchit asti dhananjaya mai sarvamidam protam sutre manigana ivaha. O conqueror of wealth, there is no truth superior to me. Everything rests upon me as pearls are strung on a thread. So what knowledge has Krishna has given us till now, he is now explaining us with the help of an example. He says, like a pearl necklace, okay, pearl necklace, until unless that thread is there, as in a kanthi mala, that pearls will be separated. Okay, the thread is the unifying principle behind that necklace. Similarly, Krishna is saying, I am that thread. Okay, I am the basis of each and everything. And everything rests upon me. There is no truth superior to me. So Prabhupada in the purport says that what do you mean by there is no truth superior to me? Here, Krishna is establishing that he is a person. He is the supreme personality of Godhead. He is not giving any importance to the impersonal aspect of Krishna. Okay, so Prabhupada says that there is no controversy between the impersonal aspect and personal aspect of Krishna. Both are there. Okay, impersonal aspect in the form that he's pervading everything. Okay, he is present in everything. That is his impersonal aspect. But personal aspect is that he is a person whom which we can relate. These two aspects are there. But the controversy is the impersonalist thing that that Brahman is all in all. Okay, if Krishna has a form, it is either material or he has no form. Okay, they think like that. But that thing is wrong. Krishna has both aspects. That is the true philosophy. Okay, so after this verse, now Krishna will talk about how he pervades each and every thing and how he is the essence of everything. And by knowing that, we will come to know that we can, it's so easy to remember Krishna. Whatever we see, how easily we can remember Krishna. So Krishna is all pervasive as well as he is the essence of everything. We already know about these inconceivable potencies of Krishna, that he is omnipotent. Omnipotent means he is so powerful, he can do anything. He lifted Govardhan hill. Omnipresent in the form of Paramatma, Shirodakshay Vishnu. He is located in every living entity as well as he pervades every atom of this material nature. So he is omnipresent as well as he is omniscient. Omniscient means he is full of knowledge. He knows everything about past, present, and future. That's why he is omniscient. So definitely Krishna is glorious. And now Krishna will speak that how he is also the essence of everything. Okay. So in the coming verses, Krishna's like from this verse number 8 to 11, Krishna says, Raso aham apsu kaunteya. I am the taste of water. Similarly says, I am the light of the sun and the moon. I am the syllable Om in the Vedic mantras. I am the sound in ether and ability in man. I am the original fragrance of the earth. I am the heat in fire. I am the life of all that lives. Then he says, I am the penances of all aesthetics. I am the original seed of all existences. I am intelligence of the intelligent. I am prowess of a powerful man. I am the strength of the strong, which is devoid of passion and desire. And I am sex life, which is not contrary to religious principle or Lord of Bharata. So these are all in 14 items. Okay, we count them. These 14 items are covered from verses number 8 to 11. We will take them one by one. Okay. Now, Krishna says, I am the taste of water. Okay. So, I am the taste of water. Every day we get up in the morning, we will drink water. As Krishna says, it's so easy to remember Krishna. While drinking water itself, we can remember Krishna as that Krishna is the taste of water. Okay, so now, but Prabhupada says we cannot limit Krishna to that. We cannot limit Krishna to that. That Krishna is the taste of water, that is his impersonal aspect. He's pervading, okay. But at the same time, in this thing itself, we can realize that, okay, water is there, but water is the only thing which can quench our thirst. If I give you some Coca-Cola or some juice, will it do the work of water? It cannot do the work of water, because Krishna has given that essential quality to that water. That water tastes, that only can quench our thirst. If we are thirsty, we will like to drink water and nothing else. So every time we feel thirsty, we should remember Krishna, that he is the taste of that water. Now, how to know that water is he's the taste of the water? like water is tasteless, but we know that when we drink water from different sources, we can feel that it is the taste of water and different taste of the water. So definitely taste is important. And water, we know that it is a material element, and taste is the sense object which is associated with water. Okay. They are very material elements which we have not discussed in detail, but we'll be discussing like these 5 material elements. They have an associated sense object with it. Like water is associated with taste. Okay, air is associated with this. Fire is associated with form. Okay, ether is associated with sound. Okay, earth is associated with fragrance, and heat is associated with fire. So these are the elements and the associated sense object. Similarly, this water is responsible to give us taste. If water is not there, we will not be able to taste anything else also. Because like when we eat something tasty, some saliva is secreted in our mouth. Okay, that saliva contains water. That's why we are able to taste anything which is tasty. Suppose we eat some dry chapati. It will be tasteless because it has lost that water content in it. So a thing to be tasty, it should have some water in it. So water is the medium through which we can taste. Okay, so important it is that we can realize by eating or drinking water that Krishna is pervading that. Krishna is the essence of that water. Second is like Krishna is saying, I'm the light of the sun and the moon. We definitely know that the most important characteristic of sun and moon is this light. Okay, we perceive sun and moon by the light, and by this light of the sun only everything is existing. We know that without the light of the sun, the plants cannot produce chlorophyll, and no food will be there for us to exist. So it is so important, and that essence is Krishna. Krishna is saying, I am the light of the sun and the moon. So every day we can remember Krishna when we see sun. And moon, in the moonlight is responsible for producing the taste in the fruits. Okay, the fruit is because of that night moon and vegetables and fruits. It is the moonlight which is responsible to bring about that taste in those things. Okay, so that way Krishna is saying, I am the light of the sun and the moon. Next, Krishna says, I am the syllable Om in the Vedic mantras. We all know that Pranav, Om sound, it is like an important sound. Okay, Krishna is saying, I'm out of all sound, I am that Om syllable. And this Om we use in various Vedic mantras like Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Ajnanatimirandhasya. Definitely it is a transcendental sound, but this Om is a representation of Krishna, but this Om is something non-formal, impersonal representation of Krishna. But what Hare Krishna Mahamantra we chant, that is more personal representation of Krishna, because it indicates our intimacy to Krishna. When we call out names of Krishna, it is direct relationship with Krishna. But Om is like little formal, and that's why devotees like to chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra instead of chanting Om. But definitely in beginning of Bhagavatam and all and various verses, when Om comes, we can chant that Om. But we should understand that it is representing the impersonal or non-formal aspect of Krishna, and this is more personal. Okay, so he's saying, I am the sound in ether. So ether, ether is responsible for assessing the sound. Okay, this is the another element. So we have told you that these elements are associated with their sense objects. So ether is associated with sound. Due to ether only, we are able to hear anything, due to the presence of ether. So next Krishna says, I am the ability in man. So we have different abilities. All of you are IT people. You have so intellectual brain. You can do so many things with that. We as doctors can do so many things. So he's saying, I am that ability. Whatever you can do in this world, I am that ability. But okay, he says, I am that ability also by which you can distinguish between what is wrong and what is right. Through this ability, we can like detach ourselves from what is not important for us. We can try to intellectually know about Krishna through this ability, intellectual, which Krishna has given us. So Krishna is saying, I am the ability in men. Next, he says that I am the original fragrance of the earth. So this is the third element. Earth is associated with fragrance. The sense object which is associated with earth is fragrance. And how to understand this? Like earth, you know, when rain comes, when rain comes, then we have a very sweet fragrance comes, and most of us like that when the first rain comes and a sweet fragrance we can feel. So that way we can come to know that fragrance is associated with earth. Similarly, you know that when we sow a seed, okay, this seed has no fragrance in it. Then we water it, and after some time it will become a plant, and that plant will have flowers and fruits in it. Flowers and fruit we can smell. So how that smell is coming from that? That smell is coming from earth. So that way also, whenever we smell a flower or we eat a fruit, we can remember Krishna. So the next Krishna says that I'm heat and fire. Okay, so now how to explain this? Like when in winters we are feeling cold, we like to lit fire, we get heat. So we realize the importance of heat. Similarly, as a doctor, we know that there is some production of heat for digestion. So even for digestion, heat is required. So that is so important. And Krishna is saying, I am that heat. Okay. Next, he says that I am the life of all that lives. Why he says that? Because when we are about to take birth, the arrangement behind how a soul will take a material body and how the embryo will develop, okay, it all is by arrangement of Krishna. Okay, nobody can do that mechanism. So that's why he is the main basic arranger for our life. That's why he's the life of all that lives, every living entity. Next, he says that I'm the penances of all ascetics. So there are so many tapasvis. Okay, they do different type of tapasyas. We have seen and heard some tapasvis can remain in air. Some can remain deep in the water. Okay, some can live their life only on leaves. So they have different capacities of doing austerities. And we also do fastings, okay? And somebody can do without water, ekadashis. Somebody cannot do that. Somebody will like to eat fruits. Somebody will take non-green prashadam. So there are different austerities of level of austerities which we can perform. And Krishna is saying, I am that austerity. I am that penance of all ascetics. Then next, he says, I am the original seed of all existences. Aham bija pradatpita. Krishna will be saying in 14th chapter that I am the original seed of all existences. That we know that he is the seed-giving father. Okay, he glances at material nature and he puts the living entities, and all living entities come into picture. Then he says, I am the intelligence of the intelligent. Whenever we are proud of our brain, we can think that this intelligence has been given by Krishna, because we know that Bhoktaram Yagatapsam Sarvalokam. Krishna is the Bhokta, and we have to use everything which we have, fruits, flowers, our intelligence, our brain, everything in the service of Krishna. He's the supreme enjoyer, because it all has been given to us by him. And then he says that I am the prowess of the powerful man. We have so much of strength. Sometimes these boxers, they can have so much of strength. We have talked about Muhammad Ali before in our previous slides. So all this strength we are proud of, it is coming from Krishna, and Krishna can take this strength any time he wants. Like example of Muhammad Ali, he was not even able to lift the cup of tea when he was suffering from that disease. So all that power comes from Krishna. And then he says, I'm the strength of the strong, which is devoid of passion and desire. So it means that if we are very strong, we have a strength, we should use it in Krishna's service. It should not be used for our sense gratification, for fulfilling our desire, for fulfilling our passion. If we are using that strength in that way, then that strength Krishna is. Okay. And then last, Krishna says, I am the sex life, which is not contrary to religious principle. What does it mean? It means that according to Vedas, according to scriptures, if we are entering into a marriage life, and after performing all samskaras like Gabdahan samskars and all, we give birth to a child. And it is our duty that we make that child Krishna consciousness. If that is the process, then that is right. And Krishna is saying, I abide by it. I am that sex life, which is not contrary to religious principles. So this should be our motto. It should not be illicit relationships. Then after explaining all these things, that how he pervades everything, how is the essence of everything, he says this in the verse number 12. Anybody would like to read? This is shloka number 12. The meaning is given on the left-hand side.
I'll read. Hare Krishna. Know that all states of being, be they of goodness, passion, or ignorance, are manifested by my energy. I am, in one sense, everything, but I am independent. I am not under the modes of material nature, for they, on the contrary, are within me.
Thank
Link.
you.
Okay.
Okay. So in this shloka, all the above 14 examples are present within the three modes of material nature. Krishna is saying that this material manifestation which he has made is under the control of modes, three modes, which we will discuss in our this last section, 14th chapter. What are these modes and how do they control each and everything of us, even our intelligence, even our austerity, charity is under these control of these three modes of material nature. So Krishna is saying that yes, everything is manifested by me. It's all my energy. In everything, I'm everything. But he's saying it doesn't mean that everything is Krishna. Okay, I'm everything, but it doesn't mean that everything is Krishna. Okay, Krishna is saying that I am independent. I doesn't come under the control of this modes. Okay, so what does it mean? Like Krishna is beyond them. Krishna has made this laws, this material nature, these modes, to control us through Maya. And why? Because he wants only true people to surrender. Those people who can come out of these modes, who can rise above these three modes. Krishna wants only those people. That's why Krishna is saying, I have made these modes, but I am beyond that modes. I am transcendental. I am not bound by the laws, like a lawmaker, like prime minister. He's not bound by the laws of the prison. He can, by his will, come and go. Okay, he's not bound by the laws of that prison. Similarly, Krishna is not bound by any of these modes. And after this shloka, we will be, like in the next class, we'll be learning about surrender. So Krishna says that this all knowledge about Krishna, how he pervades everything, about two aspects of his knowledge, this knowledge about Krishna should lead to transformation, should lead to surrender. It should lead to shelter and taking shelter unto Krishna. So Krishna will now explain the importance of taking his shelter along with those people who will take his shelter and those who don't take his shelter in the next coming session. So any questions or comments?
So I think so. We are already finished our topic for today. Just want to check if anyone has any question or any comment, any suggestion.
One question, Prabhuji. This is regarding the. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So this is regarding the creation and destruction in the universe. From one of the previous slides, we understood that Krishna is the creator and he is also the destroyer, right? But some people say that Brahma is for creation and Vishnu maintains everything, and Shiva is for the destruction. So does it mean that so this is the hierarchy? I mean, formal hierarchy, but Krishna controls all three. Is that the correct understanding?
Yeah. So very nice question, and good that you asked. So basically, it is. It's there are. If you remember, we discussed about three type of avtaras. Of that, one was Guna avatar, right? And in Guna avatar, there are three avatars. One who is responsible for mode of goodness, other who is responsible for mode of passion, and third who is responsible for mode of ignorance, right? So in that, Lord Vishnu is responsible for mode of goodness, right? Brahmaji is responsible for mode of passion, and Shivji is for mode of ignorance. Vishnu ji is responsible for maintenance, Brahma ji for creation, and Shivji for destruction. But they are Guna avatar of Krishna, right? So that is why it is like he's the ultimate cause. Right? He's the ultimate. While there will be someone who is doing some activity, he's the ultimate cause of everything. Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchitananda Vigraha Anadir Adir Govinde Sarva Karanam Karana. Right? Sarva Karana Karana. So he is the ultimate cause of everything. That is why he is cause for creation and also, right, maintenance and destruction. There may be someone who is an immediate cause, and yeah, he is the ultimate cause.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other question? Okay, so we'll end this session. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.